So here you are again, settling in, letting the weight of the day slide off your shoulders like a coat you don't need anymore. The room is quiet, the house is still, and there's no place you have to be, nothing you have to do except lie there and let your eyes get heavy. That's the deal tonight. You just rest. And if you feel like it, if the mood takes you, you might let a thumb tap the like button before you drift. No pressure. Just a small thing you can do or not do. Either way, the night keeps going. Let's talk about a different kind of night. A darker one. One without the low hum of a refrigerator or the little green light on a charger. One where the only sound after sunset was the wind working its way through the cracks in the wall, and the only light came from something that could burn your fingers if you touched it wrong. Medieval people didn't have modern technology. That's obvious. But what's harder to feel is what that actually meant for the hours between dusk and dawn. Not the big battles or the plague years or the kings and their castles. Just the ordinary stuff. The Tuesday nights. The way a person got through February when the firewood was low and the dark started around 4 in the afternoon and didn't let up until 7 the next morning. They had bodies like yours. Same need for warmth. Same fear of the dark, even if they wouldn't have called it that. Same way your stomach clenches when you're hungry and there's nothing to eat. Same way your back aches after a long day of bending over. Same way your eyes strain to see in dim light. But they also had things you don't. Patience, for one. Not the kind you practice. The kind you're born into because there's no alternative. When your only way to cook a meal is to build a fire from scratch, you don't get impatient with the fire. You just build it. When your only way to see after dark is a rushlight made from a reed dipped in grease, you don't complain about the shadows. You just lean closer. Let's walk through a single day. Not a special one. Not a harvest festival or a saint's day. Just a Tuesday in November. Somewhere in the north of England, maybe, or along the Rhine. A village of maybe 30 or 40 people. Wood and wattle and daub houses with thatched roofs. A single well. A single oven that the whole village shares. A church if you're lucky, and most of the time you weren't that lucky. The day starts before the sun. It always starts before the sun. You wake because you're cold, not because an alarm went off. The fire in the hearth burned down to ash hours ago. The room is just barely warmer than the outdoors. You lie there under a pile of wool blankets and maybe a sheepskin if your family had a little extra. Your breath makes a small cloud in the air. You can see it because the window shutters have gaps, and the first hint of gray is starting to leak through. Nobody lingers in bed. The bed itself isn't comfortable enough to linger in. There's a wooden frame with rope strung across it, and a straw mattress on top of that. The ropes sag. The straw shifts. You wake up with straw in your hair and a stiff neck from sleeping in the same position all night because you didn't want to throw an elbow into your spouse or your child or your mother, all of whom share the same bed, sometimes head to toe to save space. So you get up. You don't stretch. You just stand up and feel the cold floor under your bare feet, and then you put your feet back down on the floor because there are no shoes by the bed. The shoes are across the room next to the door because shoes track in mud and you don't want mud in the sleeping area. So you walk across the cold packed earth floor in your bare feet. The floor is hard. It's been walked on for generations. It's almost black with compacted dirt and spilled food and the occasional drop of grease. You find your shoes. Leather if you're lucky. Rawhide if you're not. Wooden clogs if you live near a forest with the right kind of trees. You pull them on. Then you cross to the hearth. The hearth is the heart of the house. That's not a metaphor. It's the literal warm center. A ring of stones on the floor, sometimes raised a little, with a hole in the roof above it to let the smoke out. The smoke doesn't always go out. On a bad day, the whole house fills with smoke, and your eyes water, and everything you own smells like a campfire. On a good day, the smoke finds the hole and drifts upward, and you can see the fire. But right now, the fire is dead. Just a pile of cold gray ash and a few blackened logs. You kneel down. You brush the ash aside with your hand. The ash is fine and soft and gets between your fingers. You're looking for an ember, a single red coal that might have survived the night if you buried it deep enough. You push your fingers into the ash. It's warm at first, then hot. You find one, a small orange glow the size of your thumbnail. Still alive. You breathe on it, slow and gentle. Not a sharp puff. A long, steady breath like you're trying to fog up a window. The ember glows brighter. You add a pinch of dried grass, then a few tiny twigs, then a small split piece of wood. The flame catches. It's small and weak and could die if you look away too long. But it's there. Fire. The first fire of the day. You feed it slowly. You don't rush. Rushing kills fires. You add one piece of wood at a time, waiting for each one to catch before you add the next. By the time the flames are steady, your knees hurt from kneeling on the hard floor. But the cold in the room starts to pull back. Just a little. Just enough. Now comes the first real work of the day. You have to fetch water. The well is at the edge of the village, maybe 100 yards from your door. You take 2 wooden buckets and a yoke, a curved piece of wood that fits over your shoulders. You walk outside. The sky is pale gray. The ground is wet with dew. Your breath is visible. The village is quiet except for a single rooster and a dog barking somewhere on the other side of the creek. The well is deep. You can't see the water at the bottom, just darkness. There's a rope tied to a wooden windlass. You lower the bucket hand over hand, feeling the rope slide through your palms. The rope is rough. It leaves tiny splinters in your skin. You hear the bucket hit the water. A dull thud. Then you pull it back up, one arm at a time, leaning back with your whole body weight. The bucket comes up dripping. You pour half of it into the second bucket and lower the first one again. Twice for each bucket to fill them. By the time you're done, your arms ache. Your shoulders ache. But you have water. You carry it back on the yoke, the 2 buckets swinging slightly with each step. You don't spill a drop. You've been doing this since you were 7 years old. Back inside, the fire is still going. You put the water near the hearth to take the chill off. Not to boil. Boiling takes too much fuel. Just to take the edge off so you don't crack your teeth on ice-cold water first thing in the morning. Breakfast. Breakfast is whatever was left from last night. Maybe a piece of dark bread made from rye or barley, not wheat. Wheat was for the rich. Your bread is dense and slightly sour and chews like a brick. You tear off a piece and dip it in a bowl of water just to soften it enough to swallow. There's no butter, no jam, no eggs unless you have chickens, and even then, eggs are for trading, not for eating on a random Tuesday. You might have a small piece of cheese if you're lucky. Hard cheese. Salty. The kind that keeps for months without refrigeration because it's basically just preserved milk and salt and thyme. You eat standing up. Nobody sits for breakfast. There's no table to sit at. There's a bench against the wall, but it's for the evening when you have time to sit. Morning is for moving. You eat with your hands. You wipe your hands on your pants. You don't think about it. Then you go outside to start the real work. And the real work never stops. Not until the sun goes down. And sometimes not even then. You go outside, and the cold hits you again. Not the same cold as inside. This one has wind behind it. A damp wind that comes off the fields and carries the smell of wet earth and animal manure and the last few leaves still clinging to the trees. You pull your wool tunic tighter around your neck. Wool is scratchy. It smells like sheep even after you wash it, which you don't do often because washing takes water and water takes labor and labor takes time you don't have. So you smell like sheep. So does everyone else. Nobody notices. The first task depends on the season. In November, the fields are done. The grain is harvested, threshed, and stored in the barn. The hay is stacked. The animals are thinner now than they were in September, and they'll be thinner still by January. But they're alive. That's the goal. Keep everything alive until spring. You walk to the barn. The barn is a wooden structure with a thatched roof and a single door that sticks on its leather hinges. You push it open. Inside, it's dark and warm and smells like hay and sweat and something sweet you can't name. The animals shift in their stalls. A cow lows. Pig grunts. A few chickens roosting in the rafters flutter their wings but don't fly down. They know it's not time for feed yet. You have one cow. A small brown thing with a bony spine and sad eyes. She gives milk but not much. Maybe a quart a day. Just enough for the family. You sit down on a 3-legged stool you made yourself last winter, and you lean your head against the cow's warm flank, and you milk her. The milk comes out in thin streams that hit the bottom of the wooden bucket with a soft ping. Ping, ping. Ping. The sound is steady, almost rhythmic. You could fall asleep like this, leaning into the animal's warmth, listening to the ping of milk on wood. But you don't. You keep your hands moving. The milk goes into a clay pot. You cover it with a cloth and put it in the coolest corner of the house. It will sour by tomorrow. That's fine. Sour milk is buttermilk. You'll drink it anyway. Now you have to feed the animals. Hay from the stack in the corner. You pull armfuls of dried grass and toss them into the stalls. The hay is dusty. It makes you sneeze. The cow eats with her whole face, pushing her muzzle into the pile and pulling out long strands that hang from her mouth like wet strings. The pig eats differently. The pig shoves her whole head into the trough and makes a sound like mud bubbling. The chickens peck at the grain you scatter on the floor. They're fast. Their heads snap down and up, down and up. Feeding takes half an hour. By the time you're done, the sun is fully up. Not that you can see it. The sky is low and gray and flat, the kind of sky that sits on top of the world like a lid. There's no sunrise to speak of, just a gradual lightening from black to charcoal to a kind of pale pewter that lasts all day. You go back inside. The fire has burned down again. You feed it more wood. You have to be careful with wood. You spent days last spring cutting and splitting and stacking, and if you burn through it too fast, you'll be cold in February. So you add just enough to keep the hearth warm. Not hot, warm. The morning stretches out, long and shapeless. You mend a tear in your tunic with a bone needle and a length of linen thread. The thread is uneven, thick in some places, thin in others. You don't care. You just push the needle through the fabric and pull it out and push it through again. Your hands know this motion. They've known it since you were a child learning from your mother. She learned it from her mother. The same stitch, the same tug, the same slight squint to see the small holes in the fabric. You hear sounds from the village. A hammer on metal from the smith's forge. A child crying somewhere. A woman calling for a goat that wandered off. The sounds are distant and muffled, like hearing music through a wall. The village is a small world. You know every sound. You know who's chopping wood by the rhythm of the axe. You know who's arguing by the pitch of the voice. You don't need to look. You just listen. Around midday you eat again. Same bread. Same cheese. Same water. You break the bread with your fingers and chew slowly because there's no reason to rush. The afternoon will be long. The evening will be longer. You might as well make this meal last. After eating, you go back outside. The sky hasn't changed. Still gray. Still low. The wind has picked up a little, but not enough to matter. You walk to the edge of the village where the common pasture meets the forest. There's a pile of dead wood there. Branches that fell during the last storm. You bend down and pick them up one by one, snapping the smaller ones over your knee and stacking the larger ones in your arms. The wood is damp, feels heavy and cold. You carry it back to your house and add it to the stack by the door. It's not much, but it's something. Every stick matters when the only heat you have comes from burning it. The afternoon passes like water through your fingers. You don't watch the clock because there is no clock. You watch the light. The light is your clock. When it starts to fade from pewter to something darker, you know it's time to start thinking about the evening meal. The evening meal is the main meal. Not because you eat more, but because you have more time to cook it. You take a small piece of salt pork from the barrel where you've been storing it since the fall slaughter. The pork is hard and white with salt. You soak it in a bowl of water to pull out some of the salt. Then you cut it into chunks with a knife that's more sharp than it looks. The knife blade is black iron. The handle is wrapped in leather that's dark with old grease. You put the pork in a clay pot with water and some dried peas and a handful of chopped onions if you have them. Onions keep well. You grew them in the summer and pulled them from the ground and tied them in strings and hung them from the ceiling. Now they're wrinkled and brown and smell like dirt, but they still taste like onion when you cut into them. The pot goes on a hook over the fire. The fire is low. You don't want a rolling boil. You want a slow simmer, the kind that takes hours and fills the house with a smell that makes your stomach clench with want. You stir the pot with a wooden spoon. The spoon is old. The end is worn down to a curve from years of scraping the bottom of pots. While the stew cooks, you sit by the fire, not doing anything, just sitting. Your hands rest in your lap. Your feet are stretched toward the flames. The heat hits your shins and your ankles and the tops of your feet. You close your eyes for a moment, just a moment, and in that moment you feel something that doesn't have a name. Not happiness, not sadness, just a kind of quiet. The fire pops. A log shifts and settles. The stew bubbles. Outside, the wind has died down completely, and the world is so still you can hear a dog bark from the next village over, a mile away. The dark comes, not slowly, comes like someone pulling a blanket over your head. 1 minute you can see the outline of the window. The next minute you can't. You reach for the rushlight, a dried reed dipped in animal fat. You light it from the fire. The flame is small and smoky and smells like burning meat. It casts just enough light to see the pot and the table and the hands in your lap. You eat the stew from a wooden bowl. You use a spoon, no fork. Forks haven't been invented yet. You lift the spoon to your mouth and blow on it because the stew is hot. The pork is chewy. The peas are soft. The broth is salty and thin. You eat slowly. Each spoonful takes time. You dip your bread in the broth and eat that too. When the bowl is empty, you run your finger around the inside to get the last of the grease. Then you lick your finger. The meal is over. The rushlight is burning down. You have maybe another hour of light before it gutters out. You could make another rushlight. You have more reeds. But making one takes time and you're tired. The tired isn't a feeling. It's a weight. It sits on your shoulders and your lower back and the backs of your knees. You've been awake for 14 hours. You've walked miles without leaving the village. You've lifted water and carried wood and milked a cow and mended a shirt and cooked a meal. Your body wants to stop. So you stop. You bank the fire. That means you cover the burning logs with ash to slow down the burn. The fire will last longer this way. Not all night, but maybe until 3 in the morning. Long enough to keep the worst of the cold away while you sleep. You lie down on the rope bed. The straw mattress rustles. You pull the wool blankets up to your chin. The rushlight flickers once, twice, and then it's out. The room is completely dark. Not the dark you know, with streetlights bleeding through the curtains and the soft glow of a phone charger on the nightstand. This dark is absolute. You hold your hand in front of your face and you can't see it. You blink and the dark doesn't change. You listen. The house settles. Wood shrinks as it cools. That makes a sound like someone tapping a finger on the wall. The thatch above you rustles. A mouse, maybe, or just the wind finding a way through. Outside, nothing. The village is asleep. The animals are asleep. The only things moving are the things that move at night. Foxes, owls, things you don't have names for. You lie there with your eyes open, staring at a ceiling you can't see. Sleep doesn't come fast. It never comes fast. The dark is too heavy. The silence is too loud. Your mind turns over the day like a stone, looking for something underneath. The pork was good. You should have put more onions. The cow's left leg looked stiff this morning. You'll have to check it tomorrow. The wood stack is low. You'll need to gather more before the real snow comes. These thoughts drift. They don't lead anywhere. They just float through your head like leaves on a pond. And slowly, without noticing it happen, you fall asleep. Not into a deep sleep. A shallow one. The kind where you can hear the fire pop and the wind pick up and the cow shift in her stall. You sleep like that for a few hours. Then you wake up. The fire is out. The room is cold. You lie still, listening to your own breath. Then you turn over and pull the blanket tighter and wait for sleep to come again. It does. Eventually. And then the gray light comes back. And you get up. And you do it all again. The next morning begins the same way. The cold. The dark. The kneeling at the hearth. But this morning there is no ember. You push your fingers through the ash, feeling for warmth, and there is nothing. Just cold gray dust. The fire died completely sometime in the hours before dawn. No one got up to feed it. Everyone was too tired. So now you have no fire. You sit back on your heels and look at the dead hearth. The stones are dark. The ash is undisturbed. For a moment you don't move. There's a kind of stillness that comes over you. Not panic. Panic takes energy you don't have. Just a flat recognition. You have to start from nothing. You stand up. You walk to the neighbor's house. The door is a wooden plank held shut with a leather strap. You knock. No one answers. You push the door open. Inside, the neighbor is already awake, kneeling at her own hearth. She looks up at you. Her face is gray in the dim light. You don't say anything. You just point at her fire. She nods. She hands you a small clay pot with a lid. Inside the pot is a single glowing coal from her hearth. You carry it back to your house with both hands, walking slowly so you don't jostle it. The coal is small, could die at any moment. You don't breathe until you're kneeling at your own hearth again, tipping the coal onto a bed of dry moss. The moss catches, then the twigs, then the small split logs. The fire is back. Took an hour, but it's back. This is how things work. Nothing is certain. Every morning the fire might be dead. Every meal the pot might be empty. Every winter someone might not make it to spring. You don't think about this in a fearful way. You just know it. The same way you know the sun rises in the east. It's not a worry. It's a fact. Today is different. Today is market day. Not every village has a market. Yours doesn't. But the next village over, 3 miles down the road, has a market every other Wednesday. You've been saving things to trade. A dozen eggs wrapped in straw. A small wheel of hard cheese. A bundle of dried herbs you gathered in the summer. A pair of wooden spoons you carved during the long evenings last winter. You wrap everything in a cloth and tie the corners together. You put on your best tunic. Best means the one with the fewest holes. You comb your hair with a wooden comb. You don't have a mirror, so you don't know what you look like. You just run your fingers over your head to make sure nothing is sticking up. The walk to the next village takes an hour. The road is mud. Deep mud that sucks at your shoes with every step. You walk on the grass at the edge of the road when you can. The fields on either side are empty. Brown stubble from the harvest. A few crows sit on a fence post and watch you pass. They don't move, just turn their heads as you go by. You meet other people on the road. A man leading a donkey with 2 baskets of turnips. A woman carrying a live goose under her arm. A boy with a basket of fish that smell like the river. You nod at each other. You don't talk. Talking takes breath. Breath is for walking. The market is in the village square. Open space in front of the church. Stalls made of wooden tables and overturned barrels. People stand behind their goods and call out in flat voices. Not shouting, just stating. Eggs, wool, leather, a knife, a pot, a length of linen. You find a spot on the ground between a woman selling candles and a man selling iron nails. You spread your cloth on the muddy ground and arrange your goods. The eggs in a circle, the cheese in the middle, the herbs in a bundle, the spoons on top of the cloth. People walk past. They look at your things. They don't touch without asking. A woman stops and picks up a spoon. She turns it over in her hands. She looks at the curve of the bowl and the smoothness of the handle. She puts it down. She walks away. You wait. An old man stops. He picks up the cheese. He smells it. He nods. He offers you a small leather pouch. You open the pouch. Inside are 6 coins. Not silver, just small copper coins. You've seen them before, but you don't own any. Most people don't. Trade is mostly barter. But sometimes coins show up, passed from hand to hand, worn smooth and thin. You take the coins. You give him the cheese. He walks away. The coins sit in your palm. They're warm from his hand. You put them in a pouch at your belt. The pouch is a small piece of leather with a drawstring. It holds almost nothing. Now it holds 6 coins. The morning passes. You trade the eggs for a small bag of salt. Salt is precious. It comes from far away, from mines or from the sea. Every household needs salt for preserving meat and fish. You trade the herbs for a piece of smoked fish. You trade 1 spoon for a handful of dried apples. The other spoon doesn't sell. You put it back in your pouch. By midday, the market thins out. People pack up their goods. The woman with the candles has sold half of them. The man with the nails has sold almost none. He looks tired. He ties his unsold nails in a cloth and slings the cloth over his shoulder. He walks away without looking back. You pack up too. The unsalted spoon goes back in your bag. The smoked fish, the dried apples, the salt, the 6 copper coins. You walk home along the same muddy road. The crows are gone. The sky is the same flat gray. Your shoes are wet through. Your feet are cold. But you have salt. You have fish. You have apples. You have coins. When you get home, the fire is still going. Your spouse has kept it alive. The house is warm. Not warm like you think of warm, but warm enough that you don't see your breath. You sit down on the bench and pull off your wet shoes. Your feet are white and wrinkled. You hold them toward the fire. The heat stings at first. Then it feels like nothing. Then it feels good. The evening comes the same as always. The stew, the bowl, the spoon, the rushlight, the dark, the bed, the cold, the shallow sleep. But tonight something is different. Tonight you don't sleep alone. Not in the sense of another body in the bed. You're used to that. No, tonight the village stays awake longer than usual. Not everyone, just some. A group of people gather in the largest house, the one at the center of the village. The house belongs to the oldest woman in the village. She's maybe 50 years old, which is ancient by the standards of the time. Her hair is white. Her back is bent. Her hands are knotted with arthritis. But her eyes are sharp. She has a rushlight burning on a table. Around the table sit 8 people. Men and women, old and young. They don't talk at first. They just sit. The rushlight flickers. Shadows move on the walls. The shadows are long and thin, and they shift with every breath of air. Then the old woman speaks. Her voice is low and dry, like leaves rustling. She talks about the winter. Not this winter. Winter's past. The winter of the great snow, when the drifts reached the rooftops and people had to dig tunnels to reach their barns. The winter of the hungry wolves, when the pack came down from the hills and took 3 sheep and a dog. The winter of the dying, when the fever passed through the village and took the young and the old and left the middle ones to bury them. She doesn't tell these stories like a performance. She tells them like a list. This happened, then this, then this. Her voice doesn't rise or fall. It stays flat and steady. The people around the table listen. They've heard these stories before. Some of them lived through the winters she's describing. But they listen anyway, because listening is something to do. Because the night is long and the dark is deep, and a voice in the darkness is better than silence. The old woman stops talking. The silence returns. Someone coughs. Someone shifts on the bench. The rushlight sputters. The old woman trims the wick with her fingernails. The flame steadies. Then a man speaks. He's young, maybe 20. He talks about the spring, not the beauty of it, the work, the way the ground thaws and becomes mud so deep you lose a shoe in it, the way the seeds have to go in at exactly the right time or the whole year is wasted, the way the animals give birth in the cold rain and you have to stay up all night keeping the newborn lamb warm against your own chest. He talks for a long time, not because he has a lot to say, because he's saying the same thing over and over in different ways. The ground, the mud, the seeds, the rain, the lamb. The words are like stones being stacked, each one on top of the last, building nothing, just stacking. Another person speaks, a woman with a baby on her lap. The baby is asleep. The woman talks about the river, the way it rises in the spring and floods the low fields, the way the fish come up from the deep parts, the way you can stand on the bank with a spear and wait for hours and maybe catch one or maybe not. The waiting is the point. The waiting is what she talks about. The stillness, the watching, the way your eyes learn to see the difference between a shadow and a fish. The night goes on. The rushlight burns down. Someone lights another one from the flame. The second rushlight is made of a different kind of fat. It smokes more. The smoke hangs in the air like a thin curtain. No one coughs. No one waves the smoke away. They just breathe it. By the time the third rushlight is burning, the talk has stopped. No one decided to stop. It just stopped, like a cart rolling to a halt. The people sit in the dim light. Their faces are soft and blurry. Their eyes are half closed. They aren't sleeping. They're just resting. resting in the warmth of the fire and the presence of other bodies and the low murmur of a voice that isn't speaking anymore. The old woman stands up. She doesn't say good night. She just walks to her bed in the corner and lies down. One by one, the others stand and leave. They walk out into the dark. The village is silent. The stars are out. Not many, just a few, scattered across the sky like salt on a dark cloth. You walk home. You open your door. You lie down on your rope bed. The straw rustles. The blanket is cold against your chin. You close your eyes. You don't think about the stories. You don't think about the market. You don't think about the coins in the leather pouch or the salt in the clay pot or the smoked fish hanging from the ceiling. You just lie there, and the dark holds you. The same dark that has held every person who ever lived before the wires and the switches and the little green lights. The old dark. The patient dark. The dark that doesn't care if you sleep or wake. It just is. You fall asleep. And somewhere in the village, a dog barks once and then stops. A door creaks. A baby cries for a moment and then is quiet. The fire in your hearth glows red. The embers pulse like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, almost gone. But not yet. Not yet. You wake in the dark. Not the dark of early morning. The dark of deep night. The kind where the moon is down and the clouds are thick and you cannot tell if your eyes are open or closed. You lie still. Your hand moves to the space beside you. It's empty. The blankets are cold. Your spouse is not there. You sit up. The rope bed creaks. You listen. The house is silent. No breathing. No movement. Just the settling of the timbers and the occasional drip of water somewhere in the thatch. You swing your legs over the edge of the bed. Your feet touch the cold floor. You stand. You cross the room by memory. Your hand finds the door. The leather hinge groans. You step outside. The air is cold and wet. It smells like earth and frost. You stand in the doorway and wait for your eyes to adjust. They don't. There's nothing to adjust to. The dark is complete. You call out. A low sound. Not a shout. Just a name. No answer. You take a step. Then another. The ground is uneven. You feel it through your shoes. A stone. A rut. A patch of frozen mud. You walk toward the barn. You know the way. 50 paces. Turn left at the oak stump. 20 more paces. The barn door. You push it open. Inside, it's warmer. The animals are breathing. You can hear them. The cow. The pig. The chickens rustling in the rafters. And something else. A voice. Low. Murmuring. You follow the sound. Your hand touches the rough wood of the stalls. Your feet find the packed dirt floor. The voice is coming from the cow stall. You stop. You don't move. You listen. It's your spouse, speaking to the cow. Not words you can understand. Just sounds. A low, rhythmic murmur. The kind of sound a person makes when they're not talking to anyone. When they're just letting noise come out of their mouth to fill the silence. You stand there in the dark. The cow shifts. Her hooves scrape the dirt. The murmur continues. You don't interrupt. You don't announce yourself. You just stand. After a while, the murmur stops. There's a long silence. Then your spouse speaks. A single word. Your name. Not a question. Not a call. Just a word in the dark. You answer. A single word. Their name. The two of you stand in the barn, separated by a few feet of darkness and the warm smell of the cow. No one moves. No one speaks again. Then you hear footsteps. The rustle of wool. A hand finds your arm. You turn. You walk back to the house together. You lie down. You don't speak. The blankets are cold, but not as cold as before. Morning comes. The same gray light. The same kneeling at the hearth. The ember is still alive. You feed it. The fire grows. You heat water. You pour it into a wooden bowl. You wash your face. The water is warm. Feels strange on your skin. You're not used to warm water on your face. Usually, you wash with cold water from the bucket. Warm water is a luxury. You don't know why you decided to heat it today. You just did. You go outside. The sky is lower than yesterday. The clouds are thick and heavy and the color of old iron. The air tastes like snow. Not snow that's falling. Snow that's waiting. the kind of stillness that comes before a storm. The birds are quiet. The dogs are quiet. Even the wind is quiet. You check the woodpile. It's low. Too low. You've been burning more than you meant to. The nights are getting colder. You can feel it in your bones. Not a ache, just a awareness. A knowledge that the cold is there, waiting, pressing against the walls of the house like a hand against a door. You spend the morning gathering wood. You walk to the edge of the forest. The trees are bare. Their branches reach up like fingers. The ground is littered with fallen branches. You pick them up. You snap the small ones. You stack the large ones in your arms. You carry them back. You do this again, and again, and again. Each trip takes 20 minutes. Each trip adds a few sticks to the pile. By midday, the pile is bigger. Not big enough, but bigger. You eat bread, water, a piece of the smoked fish from the market. The fish is tough and salty. You chew it for a long time. Your jaw aches. You don't mind. Chewing is something to do. The afternoon is the same. More wood. More trips to the edge of the forest. Your shoulders ache. Your lower back aches. Your hands are chapped and cracked. The skin on your knuckles is red and rough. You don't have lotion. You don't have gloves. You just have your hands. They hurt. You keep using them. The snow doesn't come. Not today. The clouds just sit there, heavy and low, like they're thinking about it. The light starts to fade. The afternoon is gone. You didn't notice it going. It just slipped away while you were bending and lifting and walking. You build the fire up, higher than usual. The flames are big. They crackle and pop. Sparks float up toward the hole in the roof. You watch them. They rise and fade and disappear. The heat is good. Pushes back against the cold. You can feel the cold waiting outside. Pressing. Patient. The evening meal is the same. Stew. Bread. Water. You eat slowly. The fire is warm. The room is dim. The shadows are long. You finish eating. You sit. You don't move. Your hands rest on your knees. Your head is heavy. Your eyes are heavy. You close them. When you open them again, the fire has burned down. The room is darker. You don't know how long you sat there. An hour. Maybe 2. Your neck is stiff. You stand up. You walk to the bed. You lie down. You don't take off your shoes. You don't take off your tunic. You just lie down on top of the blankets. The rope bed creaks. The straw rustles. You close your eyes. Sleep comes. Not slowly. Comes like a wave. One moment you're looking at the dark ceiling. The next moment you're somewhere else. Not dreaming. Just gone. The fire burns down. The embers glow. The cold presses against the walls. You wake. The room is cold. The fire is dead. But the dark is different. Lighter. You turn your head. The window. The shutter has a gap. Through the gap, you see something you haven't seen in days. Light. Not the gray light of a cloudy day. A different light. A pale, silver light that comes from nowhere and everywhere. You get up. You cross to the window. You push the shutter open. The air that rushes in is cold and sharp and smells like nothing. Clean. Empty. You look outside. The ground is white. The roofs are white. The trees are white. The snow came. Not during the day. During the night. While you were sleeping. It fell and covered everything. The village is silent. Not the silence of night. The silence of snow. The kind that swallows sound. You stand at the window. Your breath fogs the air. The snow is deep. Up to your knees, maybe. The sky is clear. For the first time in weeks, you can see stars. They're fading now. The east is lighter. The sun is coming. Not the sun you know. A winter sun. Pale and low and cold. It will climb a little way above the horizon and then fall back down. The day will be short. The night will be long. That's how it is now. You close the shutter. You kneel at the hearth. No ember. The fire is dead. The ash is cold. You sit back on your heels. You don't move. You just sit. The cold comes up from the floor. It seeps through your shoes. Climbs your legs. You don't shiver. You just sit. After a while, you stand. You walk to the neighbor's house. The snow is deep. Each step is work. You lift your foot. You push it forward. You sink. You lift the other foot. The snow is dry. It doesn't stick to your shoes. It just falls away. The neighbor's door is closed. You knock. No answer. You push. The door is stuck. Snow has drifted against it. You push harder. The door opens. Snow spills across the floor. Inside, the neighbor is kneeling at her hearth. Her fire is alive. She looks at you. You look at her. She hands you the clay pot. You carry it back. The snow is deeper now. The sun is up, pale and low. You don't look at it. You watch the pot, the coal inside, glowing, alive. You kneel at your own hearth. You tip the coal onto the moss. You breathe, slow, gentle. The moss smokes, then glows, then flames. The fire is back. It's small, it's weak, but it's back. You feed it, one piece of wood at a time. The wood is dry, catches fast. The flames grow. The room warms. Not much, just a little. Enough. You sit by the fire. You don't eat. You're not hungry. You just sit. Your hands are cold. You hold them toward the flames. The heat stings. You don't pull away. You let it sting. The sting is good. It means you're still here, still warm, still alive. The day stretches out, long and white and quiet. No one goes outside. The snow is too deep. The doors stay closed. The windows stay shuttered. The village holds its breath. You can feel it. The waiting, the watching, the knowledge that the snow will melt or it won't, that the cold will end or it won't, that spring will come or it won't. And there's nothing to do but wait, and burn wood, and eat bread, and sit by the fire, and watch the flames, and listen to the silence, and breathe in the same breath your mother breathed, the same breath her mother breathed, going back and back and back to a time before anyone remembered. The fire, the snow, the dark, the waiting. The snow does not melt. 3 days pass, then 4, then 5. The village is cut off. The roads are gone. The path to the well is a trench you dug with your own feet, tramping back and forth, packing the snow down until it becomes ice. The ice is slick. You fall once, twice. Your hip bruises. Your elbow aches. You get up. You keep walking. The well is frozen. Not the water at the bottom. The rope. The windlass. The ice has sealed the moving parts. You stand at the well with your bucket and your yoke and you cannot lower the rope. The ice is thick. You chip at it with the edge of your knife. The knife is small. The ice is hard. You chip for a long time. Your hands are cold. The knife slips. You cut your thumb. The blood is red and bright against the white of the ice. You watch it drip. Then you wipe it on your pants and keep chipping. The windlass breaks free. You lower the bucket. The rope is stiff. It doesn't want to bend. You force it. The bucket hits the water. You pull it up. The rope cuts into your hands. The bucket comes up heavy. The water is cold. Colder than you've ever felt. You pour half into the second bucket. You lower the first bucket again. Twice. 3 times. The buckets are full. You lift the yoke to your shoulders. The weight settles into your neck. You walk home. The ice is slick. You don't fall. The fire is low. You add wood. The wood is wet. Not from the snow. From the damp. The damp is everywhere. It lives in the walls and the floor and the ceiling. It makes the wood hiss when you put it on the fire. The hiss is a complaint. The wood doesn't want to burn. It wants to rot. You make it burn anyway. You melt snow in a pot. Not for drinking. For washing. The water from the well is for drinking. The snow is for everything else. You melt a pot full. You wash your hands. The water turns gray. You wash your face. The water turns gray. You pour the water outside. It freezes before it hits the ground. The days are short. The sun rises late and sets early. You don't see it. The clouds are still there, heavy and low. The snow falls again. Not a storm, just a steady falling. Small flakes, dry flakes. They drift down like dust. They don't add much to the depth, but they add. The village sinks deeper. The roofs groan under the weight. You go outside with a long pole and push the snow off the roof. The snow falls in a lump. It lands at your feet. You step back. You do it again. The roof is clear. For now. The animals are quiet. The cow doesn't low. The pig doesn't grunt. The chickens don't move. They sit on their roosts with their feathers puffed out. You scatter grain for them. They don't come down. You leave the grain on the floor. They'll eat it when they're hungry enough. The milk has stopped. The cow is dry. Her bag is empty. You don't know if it's the cold or the feed or something else. You put your hand on her flank. She doesn't move. You lean your head against her. She is warm. You stay like that for a while. Your cheek against her hide. Your eyes closed. The barn is dim. The only light comes from a crack in the wall. A thin line of gray. You watch it. It doesn't move. You go back inside. Your spouse is mending a tear in the blanket. The needle moves in and out. The thread is dark against the wool. You sit down on the bench. You don't say anything. Your spouse doesn't say anything. The needle moves. The fire pops. The snow falls. The evening comes. The same stew. The same bread. The same water. You eat. You sit. You go to bed. You lie in the dark. You listen to the snow. It doesn't make a sound. That's the thing about snow. It falls and you can't hear it. It just accumulates. Like time. Like tiredness. Like the cold. You wake in the night. The room is dark. But something is different. A sound. A low sound. Not the wind. Not the house settling. A voice. Singing. Someone in the village is singing. The voice is old. A woman's voice. Low and cracked. The song has no words. Just notes. Rising and falling. The same notes over and over. A melody that doesn't go anywhere. Just circles. Like a stream finding its way around stones. You lie still. You listen. The singing goes on. It doesn't get louder. It doesn't get softer. It just continues. The same notes. The same circling. The voice is dry. It sounds like the voice of someone who has been singing for a long time. Hours, maybe. All night. The song is not for anyone. It's just something to do. Something to fill the dark. You close your eyes. The singing continues. You fall asleep. When you wake, the singing has stopped. The room is gray. The fire is dead. You kneel at the hearth. No ember. You walk to the neighbor's house. The snow is deeper. The trench is narrower. You have to walk with your arms out for balance. The neighbor's fire is alive. She hands you the pot. You carry it back. You light the fire. You sit. The day begins. The snow stops. Not because the weather changed. Because the snow ran out. The sky is still gray. The clouds are still low. But nothing falls. The village is silent. The silence is different now. Heavier. You walk to the well. The ice is thicker. You chip at it. Your knife is dull. You don't have a whetstone. You use the edge of the bucket. It doesn't work. You chip anyway. The windlass breaks free. You lower the bucket. The rope is stiff. You pull it up. The bucket is light. Too light. You look inside. The bucket is half full. The water is lower. The well is drying up. You don't know why. The cold, maybe. The ground freezing deeper than usual. You lower the bucket again. The rope is hard to pull. The bucket comes up. A quarter full. You pour it into the other bucket. You lower it again. The rope slips. The bucket falls. You hear it hit the bottom. A hollow sound. Then nothing. You stand at the well. The rope hangs limp. The bucket is gone. You look down. The dark looks back. You can't see the water. You can't see the bucket. You can't see anything. You pull the rope up. The end is wet. That's all. You walk home with one bucket. Half full. You set it by the hearth. You sit down. Your spouse looks at the bucket. Then at you. Then at the bucket. No one says anything. The next day you walk to the stream. The stream is a mile from the village. You've walked it before. In summer. In fall. Not in winter. Not in snow. The snow is deep. You sink to your knees. Each step is work. Your breath comes hard. Your legs burn. The stream is frozen. The ice is thick. You can see the water below it, dark and moving. You take your knife. You chop at the ice. The knife is dull. The ice is thick. You chop for an hour. Your hands are cold. Your arms ache. A crack appears. You chop more. The crack widens. Water seeps up. You chop more. A hole opens. Big enough for the bucket. You lower the bucket. The water is cold. The bucket fills. You pull it up. The bucket is heavy. You lift it to your shoulder. You start walking. The snow is deep. The bucket is heavy. You walk 100 paces. You stop. You rest. You walk another 100 paces. You stop. You rest. The village is a mile away. You walk. You rest. You walk. You rest. By the time you reach the village, the sun is down. The dark is back. You can't see the path. You follow the feel of the ground under your feet. The snow is packed. The ice is slick. You don't fall. You reach your door. You push it open. The fire is low. Your spouse takes the bucket from your shoulder. The water is half frozen. Ice has formed on the top. You break it with your fist. The water underneath is still liquid. You pour it into the pot. You sit down. You don't move. The next day you walk to the stream again. The same hole. The same bucket. The same walk. The same rest. The same dark. The same half-frozen water. The same pot by the hearth. You do this every day. The stream doesn't freeze solid. The water keeps moving. You keep walking. The mile gets longer. Not because the distance changes. Because your body is tired. Your legs are tired. Your back is tired. Your shoulders are tired. You walk anyway. The food is running low. The bread is almost gone. The smoked fish is gone. The dried apples are gone. The cheese is gone. You have a little flour left. A little salt. A few onions. The cow is dry. The pig is thin. The chickens have stopped laying. You look at the food and you divide it in your head. This many days. This many meals. This many mouths. The numbers don't add up. You stop dividing. You just look. You kill the pig. Not because you want to, because you have to. The pig is thin. There's not much meat on her. But there's some. Enough. You do the killing outside. The snow is red. You work quickly. Your hands are cold. The knife is dull. You cut and pull and cut. The pig is heavy. You carry the pieces inside. You salt the meat. You hang it from the ceiling. The pig's face is still on the ground outside. You don't look at it. The chickens stop moving. One day they're on the roost. The next day they're on the floor. You find them stiff and cold. You pluck them. You gut them. You put them in the pot. The meat is tough. Takes a long time to cook. You chew it for a long time. It doesn't taste like much, but it's food. The cow is still alive. She stands in her stall. She doesn't move much. You bring her water. You bring her hay. She drinks. She eats. Slowly. Her eyes are the same. Sad and brown. You put your hand on her flank. She is warm. You lean your head against her. She is warm. You stay like that. The barn is cold. But she is warm. You stay until your legs ache. Then you go inside. The days pass. You don't count them. Counting doesn't help. You just wake. And kneel. And walk. And carry. And eat. And sit. And sleep. The snow is still there. The cold is still there. The dark is still there. You are still there. That's all. That's everything. The fire. The pot. The bed. The blanket. The hand on the cow's flank. The sound of the knife on the ice. The taste of salt. The weight of the bucket. The ache in your shoulders. The gray light through the crack in the shutter. The dark when the rushlight dies. The silence. The waiting. The same. The same. The same. The cow dies on a Tuesday. You find her in the morning. Lying on her side in the stall, her legs stiff, her eyes open. The barn is cold. Colder than usual. The cold got into her overnight, into her lungs, into her blood. She was old. She was thin. She was tired. You stand in the stall and look at her. Your hand is on her flank. The warmth is gone. The flank is hard and cold. You don't cry. You don't kneel. You just stand. After a while, you go inside. You sit by the fire. Your spouse looks at you. You look at the fire. You don't say anything. Your spouse doesn't ask. The cow has to be butchered. The meat won't keep long. The barn is cold, but not cold enough. The meat will spoil in a few days. You have to work fast. You go back to the barn with your knife. The knife is dull. You sharpen it on a stone. The stone is rough. The blade makes a scraping sound. You test the edge on your thumb. It's sharper. Not sharp. Sharper. The butchering takes all day. You cut and pull and cut. The cow is heavy. Bigger than the pig. Much bigger. You work outside because the barn is too dark. The snow is red. Your hands are red. Your tunic is red. The knife slips. You cut your palm. The blood runs down your wrist. You wrap your hand in a strip of cloth. You keep cutting. By evening, the cow is in pieces. The meat is stacked on a wooden sled you made from branches and rope. You pull the sled to the house. The snow is deep. The sled is heavy. You pull. You rest. You pull. You rest. The meat goes into the coolest corner of the house. The corner where the wall is thickest and the ground is coldest. You cover the meat with a cloth. The cloth is thin. It won't keep the flies out. There are no flies. It's winter. The flies are dead. You sit by the fire. Your hands hurt. Your back hurts. Your palm is bleeding through the cloth. You unwrap it. The cut is deep. You can see the flesh underneath the skin. You press the edges together. You hold them. The blood stops. You wrap the cloth again. Tighter this time. The meat lasts a long time. The cold keeps it. You cut a piece each day. You put it in the pot. You add water. You add salt. You add nothing else. There's nothing else to add. The onions are gone. The dried peas are gone. The flour is gone. The salt is low. You use less. The stew is thin. The meat is tough. You chew. You swallow. You chew. You swallow. The days are the same. The snow doesn't melt. The cold doesn't break. The sun doesn't come. The gray light comes. The gray light goes. The dark comes. The dark goes. You lose track. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what month it is. You know it's winter. That's all. Winter. The same winter. The winter that doesn't end. You stop going to the stream. The walk is too long. Your body is too tired. You melt snow instead. The snow is clean. Cleaner than the stream water. You fill the pot with snow. You put it on the fire. The snow melts. The water is clear. You drink it. Tastes like nothing. Like cold. Like air. Like the sky. The fire is hard to keep. The wood is low. You've burned most of the wood you gathered in the fall. The wood you gathered after the snow is wet. It burns, but it hisses. It smokes. It doesn't give much heat. You burn it anyway. You have no choice. You go outside to look for more wood. The forest is deep in snow. You can't walk far. You find branches near the edge. Dead branches. Fallen branches. You pick them up. Your hands are stiff. Your fingers don't bend. You pick them up anyway. You carry them back. The pile is small. You add them to the fire. They burn fast. They're gone by evening. The neighbor comes to your door. She stands in the snow. Her face is gray. Her eyes are dark. She doesn't speak. You don't speak. She holds out her hand. In her hand is a small piece of bread. Dark bread. Rye bread. The bread you recognize from her oven. The oven she shares with the village. The oven that hasn't been lit in weeks because there's no flour left to bake. You take the bread. You break it in half. You give half back. She takes it. She nods. She walks away. You watch her go. Her feet leave prints in the snow. The prints are deep. She's thin. Thinner than you remember. You close the door. You sit by the fire. You eat the bread. Half a piece of bread. It's the best thing you've ever tasted. You chew slowly. You make it last. When it's gone, you lick your fingers. You sit. The fire pops. The snow falls. Not much. Just a little. Just enough to cover the neighbor's footprints. The child in the next house dies. You hear the crying. The mother's voice. High and thin. Like a bird. The crying goes on all night. You lie in the dark and listen. The crying doesn't stop. It goes on and on. The same sound, the same pitch, the same pain. You pull the blanket over your head. The crying comes through. The blanket is thin. The crying is thin. You lie there. You don't sleep. In the morning, the crying has stopped. The village is quiet. Too quiet. You go outside. The snow is deep. The air is cold. You walk to the next house. The door is closed. You don't knock. You stand outside. You can hear nothing. No crying. No talking. No movement. You stand for a long time. Then you go home. The body is buried in the afternoon. The ground is frozen. The men from the village dig with picks and shovels. The picks hit the frozen earth. The sound is sharp, like metal on stone. The hole is shallow. The ground is too hard to dig deep. They wrap the child in a cloth. A white cloth, the only white cloth in the village. They lower the child into the hole. They cover it with dirt. The dirt is frozen. It doesn't want to go into the hole. It falls in clumps. The clumps hit the cloth. The sound is soft, like rain on a roof. The people stand around the hole. No one speaks. No one prays. There's no priest. The priest died last winter. No one has come to replace him. The people just stand. Their breath fogs the air. Their faces are gray. Their eyes are empty. After a while, they walk away. They go back to their houses. They close their doors. The hole is covered. The snow falls. By morning, you can't tell where the hole was. The snow has covered it. The village is flat and white, the same as before, but not the same. That night, you dream. You don't dream often. When you do, you don't remember. But this dream stays. You're standing in a field. The field is green. The sky is blue. The sun is warm. You can feel it on your face, on your hands, on your neck. The warmth is deep. It goes into your bones. You stand there. You don't move. You just feel the warmth. The sun is high. The field is full of flowers. Small white flowers. You don't know their name. You bend down. You touch one. The petal is soft. It bends under your finger. You straighten up. The sun is still there. The warmth is still there. You close your eyes. You breathe. The air is sweet. It smells like grass, like earth, like something you can't name. You stand there. You don't want to leave. You don't want to open your eyes. You stand. The sun warms your face. The field is quiet. The flowers are still. You stand. You wake. The room is dark. The fire is dead. The cold is everywhere. You lie still. Your eyes are wet. You don't know why. You wipe your face with the back of your hand. The hand is cold. The face is cold. You lie there. The dream is gone. The field is gone. The sun is gone. The warmth is gone. There's only the dark, the cold, the bed, the blanket, the sound of your own breath. In the same breath, the same dark, the same cold, the same. The old woman dies on a Friday. You know it's Friday because the neighbor tells you. The neighbor still keeps track. She marks each day on a stick with a knife. A small notch for a weekday, a deeper notch for Sunday. The stick hangs by her door. She shows it to you when you come for the ember. 7 notches, then a deep one, then 7 more. She counts them with her finger. Her finger is thin. The nail is cracked. You watch her finger move from notch to notch. You don't count along. You just watch. The old woman's house is at the center of the village. The door is closed. The shutters are closed. No smoke comes from the hole in the roof. You stand outside with the neighbor. The snow is up to your knees. The wind is light. The cold is deep. You push the door open. The house is dark. The hearth is cold. The old woman is on her bed. She's lying on her back. Her hands are folded on her chest. Her eyes are closed. Her mouth is open. The house smells like cold and old wool and something else. Something sweet. Something you don't want to name. You stand in the doorway. The neighbor stands behind you. Neither of you moves. The old woman's face is gray. Her skin is thin. You can see the bones underneath. Her cheekbones. Her jaw. The bridge of her nose. She looks smaller than she did. Shrunken. Like the air went out of her. You stand there for a long time. The cold comes in through the open door. It doesn't matter. The house is already cold. The neighbor steps forward. She touches the old woman's hand. The hand is cold. Hard. The neighbor pulls the blanket up over the old woman's face. The blanket is gray. Worn. Covers the gray face. You can't see her anymore. Just the blanket. The shape of her. Still and small. The neighbor turns around. She walks out the door. You follow. You close the door behind you. The door doesn't latch. The leather strap is frozen. The door swings open. You push it closed again. It swings open. You leave it. The snow will hold it. The snow holds everything. The old woman is buried the next day. The ground is still frozen. The men dig with picks. The picks hit the earth. The sound is the same. Sharp. Hollow. The hole is shallow. The old woman is wrapped in the same cloth they used for the child. The white cloth. The only white cloth. The cloth is stained now. Brown in some places. The stains don't wash out. There's no soap. No hot water. No time. The cloth is wrapped around the old woman. Her body is stiff. The cloth doesn't fit right. It bunches at her shoulders. It leaves her feet uncovered. Her feet are gray. The nails are long. Yellow. You look at her feet. Then you look away. The men lower her into the hole. The hole is too short. Her feet hit the dirt at the bottom. Her head is higher than the edge. The men push her down. They push her shoulders. Her body bends. There's a sound. A crack. Like a branch breaking. The men stop. They look at each other. Then they push again. The body goes into the hole. The men cover it with dirt. The dirt is frozen. It falls in clumps. The clumps hit the cloth. The sound is the same. Soft. Like rain. Like the rain that never comes because it's winter and the rain is snow and the snow is everywhere and it never stops. The people stand around the hole. The same people. The same faces. The same gray skin. The same empty eyes. There are fewer of them now. You count without meaning to. 12. 12 people standing in the snow. There were more before. Before the child. Before the old woman. Before the cow. Before the pig. Before the long cold. 12. You look at the neighbor. She's counting too. Her lips move. Her finger moves. 12. She stops. She looks at you. You look at her. No one speaks. The wind blows. The snow drifts. The hole fills. The people walk away. You walk home. The door is open. You close it. The strap holds this time. The fire is low. You add wood. The wood hisses. The smoke rises. You sit. You don't dream. The days are the same. The same waking. The same cold. The same gray light. The same fire. The same pot. The same meat. The same bread. The bread is gone now. The last piece was 3 days ago. You ate it slowly. You made it last. It didn't last. Nothing lasts. The meat is low. The cow is almost gone. The pieces are smaller now. You cut thin slices. You put them in the pot with water. The water is thin. The meat is thin. The stew is thin. You drink it from the bowl. You dip your bread in the stew. There is no bread. You drink the stew. You wipe the bowl with your finger. You lick your finger. You sit. The neighbor comes to your door. She has no bread. She has no meat. She has nothing. She stands in the snow. Her face is thinner than before. Her eyes are deeper. Her hands are empty. She holds them out. The palms are up. The palms are empty. You look at her hands. Then you look at your own hands. Your hands are empty too. You have meat. Not much, but some. You go to the corner. You cut a piece. A small piece. Smaller than you want to give. Smaller than she needs. You give it to her. She takes it. She doesn't nod. She doesn't speak. She just takes it. She walks away. Her feet leave prints. The prints are shallow. She's lighter now. Lighter than before. You close the door. You sit by the fire. The meat is low. The cow is almost gone. The winter is not gone. The winter is still here. The winter is everywhere. The sky changes. You notice it one morning when you go outside to get wood. The clouds are different, higher, thinner. You can see light behind them. Not gray light, white light, bright light. The kind of light that hurts your eyes. You squint. You look away. The snow is still there. The cold is still there. But the light is different. You stand in the snow. You look at the sky. The clouds move. Slow. Thin. You can see blue behind them. Pale blue. The blue of a winter sky. The blue you haven't seen in weeks. Months. You don't know how long. You just know you haven't seen it. The blue is thin. It looks cold. Colder than the gray. But it's blue. It's not gray. It's blue. You go back inside. You tell your spouse. The sky is different. Your spouse looks at you. Your spouse doesn't go outside. Your spouse has been inside for days. Weeks. Your spouse doesn't say anything. Just looks at you. Then looks at the fire. You sit down. You don't say anything else. The fire pops. The smoke rises. The sky is blue. The cold is still there. But the sky is blue. The next day the sun comes. Not the pale sun that climbs a little way and falls back. The real sun. The sun that rises and keeps rising. The sun that has heat behind it. You feel it on your face when you go outside. The heat is thin. Almost nothing. But it's there. You can feel it. A little warmth on your skin. On your cheeks. On your nose. You close your eyes. You turn your face to the sun. You stand there. The snow is still deep. The cold is still deep. But the sun is on your face. You stand there for a long time. Your spouse comes to the door. Your spouse stands in the doorway. Your spouse looks at you. Then looks at the sun. Then looks at you. Your spouse steps outside. Your spouse stands in the snow. Your spouse turns their face to the sun. You stand together. The sun is on both your faces. You don't speak. You don't move. The sun climbs. The snow doesn't melt. Not yet. But the sun is there. The sun is on your face. That's enough. That's everything. The sun. The snow. The cold. The face. The warmth. The thin warmth. The almost nothing warmth. The warmth that says something. The warmth that says the winter is not forever. The warmth that says the winter will end. Not today. Not tomorrow. But someday. The sun says it. The sun on your face. The sun in the blue sky. The sun climbing. The sun warming. The sun. The sun. The sun. The thaw begins at the edges. You notice it first at the door. The snow that had piled against the threshold, packed hard as stone, now looks different. Softer. When you push the door open, the snow doesn't hold it anymore. The door swings freely. You step outside. The air is still cold. But the cold has changed. It's wet now. Damp. The kind of cold that gets into your clothes and stays there, heavy and clinging. The roof drips. A slow, steady drip. Drop. Pause. Drop. The sound is new. You've heard it before, but not for a long time. Not since before the snow. Before the long gray. The drip is small. Insistent. It makes a hole in the snow by the door. A small hole. You can see the dirt underneath. The dirt is brown. Dark brown. You haven't seen dirt in weeks. Months. You kneel down. You touch the dirt. It's soft. Wet. Comes up on your finger. You look at it. The dirt. The brown dirt. You wipe it on your pants. You stand up. The roof drips. The snow melts. Not fast. But it melts. The path to the well is a river. Not a real river. A small stream of meltwater running down the trench you dug with your feet. The water is clear. Cold. It runs over the ice and finds the low places and pools there. You walk carefully. Your shoes are wet. Your feet are cold. The well is full. The ice on the windlass is gone. The rope moves freely. You lower the bucket. Fills fast. You pull it up. The bucket is heavy. The water is cold. You carry it home. Your feet slip. You don't fall. The village wakes up. Not all at once. Slowly. Doors open. People come outside. They stand in the sun. The sun is higher now. Warmer. Not warm. Warmer. You can feel it on your hands. On your face. On the top of your head. The people look at each other. They don't speak. They just look. Their faces are thinner. Their eyes are deeper. Their clothes hang loose. But they're standing. They're outside. They're in the sun. The neighbor is there. She stands by her door. Her hands are at her sides. Her face is turned to the sun. You walk to her. You stand beside her. You don't speak. The sun is on both your faces. After a while, she turns to you. She looks at you. She says one word. Spring. Not a question. Not a statement. Just the word. Spring. You nod. You say the same word. Spring. The word is small. It doesn't mean much. But it means something. It means the cold will end. The snow will melt. The ground will soften. The seeds will go in. The animals will give birth. The days will grow longer. The nights will grow shorter. The fire will need less wood. The pot will hold more. The bread will rise. The milk will flow. The spring. The spring. The spring. You go back inside. The fire is low. You add wood. The wood is wet from the melt. It hisses. It smokes. You don't care. The smoke goes up. The fire burns. The room warms. Not much. Enough. The days pass. The snow retreats. Pulls back from the door. From the path. From the well. From the forest. The ground appears. Brown and wet and full of mud. The mud is deep. You lose a shoe in it. You pull the shoe out. The shoe is heavy with mud. You wipe it on a patch of snow. The snow is dirty now. Gray. The clean white is gone. The village is brown and gray and wet. The roofs drip. The paths are rivers. The barn is full of mud. The animals are gone. The cow is gone. The pig is gone. The chickens are gone. The barn is empty. You stand in the barn. The stalls are empty. The hay is wet. The floor is mud. You stand there. The barn is cold. The sun comes through the cracks in the walls. The light is thin. The barn is empty. You turn around. You walk out. You close the door. The door doesn't latch. The leather strap is wet. You leave it. The first green appears on the south side of the house. A small patch of something. Grass maybe. Or a weed. Something green. Small. Low to the ground. You kneel beside it. You touch it. The leaf is soft. Small. You've never seen anything so green. So alive. The winter was gray and white and brown. This is green. You sit beside it. You look at it. The sun is on your back. The ground is wet. Your knees are wet. You don't move. You just look at the green. The small green. The first green. The green that means the ground is waking up. The green that means the seeds under the snow are still alive. The green that means the world didn't die. It just slept. And now it's waking. Slow. Quiet. One small green leaf at a time. You go inside. You tell your spouse. The green. Your spouse looks at you. Your spouse's face is thin. The eyes are deep. But something moves behind the eyes. A light. Small. Like the green. Your spouse goes to the door. Your spouse looks at the green. Your spouse kneels. Your spouse touches it. Your spouse stays there. You stand in the doorway. You watch your spouse touch the green. The sun is on your spouse's back. The sun is on the green. The sun is on the mud. The sun is on the roof. The sun is on everything. The sun is warm. Not warm. Warmer. The sun is there. The sun is enough. That night you dream again. You're in the field. The same field. The green field. The blue sky. The sun. The warmth. The small white flowers. You stand there. The warmth goes into your bones. You close your eyes. You breathe. The air is sweet. You open your eyes. The flowers are still there. The sun is still there. You bend down. You touch a flower. The petal is soft. You straighten up. The field goes on forever. Green and white and blue. You stand there. You don't want to leave. You stay. The sun moves. Slow. Across the sky. You watch it. The light changes. Gold. Then orange. Then red. The sun sets. The sky is dark. The stars come out. You look up. The stars are bright. More stars than you've ever seen. They fill the sky. They don't move. They just hang there, cold and bright and far away. You stand in the dark field. The flowers are gone. You can't see them, but you know they're there. You can feel them under your feet, small and soft, waiting for the sun. You wait too. You stand in the dark. The stars are above you. The flowers are below you. You stand. You wait. You don't move. You wake. The room is gray. The fire is dead. You kneel at the hearth. You push your fingers through the ash. The ash is cold. No ember. You stand. You walk to the neighbor's house. The snow is gone. The ground is mud. The mud is deep. Your shoes sink. You pull them out. You sink again. The neighbor's door is open. She's standing at her hearth. Her fire is alive. She hands you the pot. You carry it back. Your feet sink. The pot is warm in your hands. You kneel at your own hearth. You tip the coal onto the moss. You breathe. The moss catches. The fire is back. Small, weak, but back. You feed it. The wood hisses. The fire grows. The room warms. You sit. Your spouse is still asleep. The blanket is pulled up to their chin. Their face is thin. Their eyes are closed. You watch them breathe. The blanket rises, falls, rises, falls. You sit by the fire. The sun comes through the crack in the shutter. A thin line of light. Gold. Not gray. Gold. You watch the light move across the floor. Slow. The line gets wider. The room gets brighter. The fire pops. Your spouse breathes. The sun climbs. The day begins. The same day, but different. The sun is gold. The mud is deep. The green is there. Small, but there. The spring is coming. Not today, not tomorrow, but coming. You sit by the fire. You wait. The sun moves. The light spreads. The room is warm. Not warm. Warmer. The fire. The sun. The breath. The waiting. The same. But not the same. The spring. The spring. The spring. The mud dries. Not all at once. In patches. A hard crust forms on top, and when you step on it, your foot breaks through to the wet underneath. You learn where to walk. Along the edge of the path where the grass is starting to grow. Around the puddles that have become small ponds. Over the stones that have emerged from the melt, their surfaces clean and gray. The village is a map of small disasters and smaller recoveries. The sun is higher now. You notice it when you go outside in the morning. The light comes over the trees differently. It slants through the branches at an angle you haven't seen since last autumn. The days are longer. You don't need to mark the stick to know this. You can feel it. The way the evening holds off a little longer. The way the dark comes later, reluctant, like a dog being called inside. You start thinking about the garden. The plot of land behind the house, fenced with rough wooden stakes and woven branches. The ground there is wet, soggy. You walk through it, your feet sinking, and you look at the brown earth. Last year's plants are still there. Dead stalks, brown leaves, a few frozen turnips that never got pulled. You pull them now. They're soft, rotten. You throw them over the fence. The chickens would have eaten them, but the chickens are gone. You need seeds. You saved seeds from last year's harvest. A small leather bag tied with a leather cord. The bag hangs from a peg near the door. You take it down. You untie the cord. Inside are the seeds. Small, brown. Some are round. Some are flat. Some are shaped like tiny commas. You pour them into your palm. They feel dry, alive. You hold them up to the light. The sun catches them. They glow for a moment. Then you put them back. Tie the cord. Hang the bag on the peg. You need to turn the soil. The soil is heavy, wet. It sticks to the spade. The spade is wood with an iron edge. The iron is rusted. You sharpen it on a stone. The rust flakes off. The edge is dull. You sharpen more. The stone is rough. The edge gets sharper. Not sharp, sharper. You take the spade to the garden. You push it into the earth. The earth resists. You push harder. The spade goes in. You lift. The earth turns over. Dark, rich, smelling like the bottom of a stream. You turn another spadeful. And another. The work is slow. Your back aches. Your arms ache. Your hands ache. The spade is heavy. The earth is heavy. You turn the soil, one spadeful at a time. The sun climbs. Your shadow shrinks. You keep turning. The neighbor is in her garden too. You can see her from your fence. She's on her hands and knees, pulling weeds. The weeds are already growing, faster than anything you planted. They don't need seeds. They just appear, green and stubborn and full of life. She pulls them and throws them in a pile. The pile grows. She doesn't look up. She just pulls. Her hands are black with dirt. Her knees are black with dirt. Her face is thin, but she's moving. She's in the sun. She's pulling weeds. The weeds will grow back. She knows this. She pulls them anyway. You work until the sun is directly overhead. Then you stop. You go inside. You eat. The meat is almost gone. The last few pieces of the cow. You cut one thin slice. You put it in the pot with water. You add nothing else. You drink the broth. You chew the meat. The meat is tough. You chew for a long time. You swallow. You sit. Your spouse is outside now. Your spouse is mending the fence. The fence where the branches have fallen. The fence where the stakes have rotted. Your spouse works slowly, one branch at a time. The new branches are green, flexible. Your spouse weaves them between the old stakes. The fence grows stronger. Your spouse's hands are raw. The bark peels off the branches. The smell is green, sharp, like the inside of a tree. The afternoon is the same. The garden, the spade, the earth, the sun, the ache. You turn the soil until your arms won't lift the spade anymore. Then you stop. You lean on the spade. You look at the garden. Half of it is turned. Half of it is still clumped and wet and full of last year's dead stalks. You look at the turned half. The dark earth. The way it catches the light. The way it looks ready. You lean on the spade. The sun is lower. Your shadow is longer. You go inside. The evening is different now. The dark comes later. You sit by the fire, but you don't need it as much. The air is warmer. Not warm. Less cold. You sit on the bench by the door. You look outside. The sky is pale. The clouds are thin. A few stars are already out. You watch them appear. One. Then another. Then another. The sky fills slowly. You count them. Not because you need to, because counting is something to do. 10, 20, 30. You lose count. You start over. 10, 20. You lose count again. You stop counting. You just watch. The neighbor comes out of her house. She sits on her bench. She looks at the sky. You look at the sky. The sky is the same sky. The same stars. The same clouds. The same pale light. You don't speak. The neighbor doesn't speak. You sit. The stars come out. The air cools. You go inside. You lie down. The rope bed creaks. The straw rustles. You close your eyes. The dark is not as dark as it was. There's a light behind the shutters. The moon. Not full. Not half. Just a sliver. But it's there. It's light. You watch the crack in the shutter. The light comes through. Thin and silver. You watch it. Your eyes close. You sleep. The next day you finish the garden. The last spadeful of earth turns over. You stand back. The whole plot is dark and broken and ready. You take the leather bag from the peg. You untie the cord. You pour the seeds into your palm. You walk to the garden. You kneel. You make a small hole with your finger. You drop a seed into the hole. You cover it with earth. You make another hole. You drop another seed. You cover it. You work slowly. The sun is warm on your back. The earth is cool under your knees. Your hands are black with dirt. Your fingernails are black. You make holes. You drop seeds. You cover them. Row by row, the garden fills. The seeds disappear into the dark earth. You can't see them anymore, but you know they're there, waiting, like you waited, through the cold, through the snow, through the dark. The seeds are waiting. The sun is warm. The earth is wet. The seeds will grow. Not today, not tomorrow, but they will grow. You finish the last row. You sit back on your heels. You look at the garden, the dark earth, The invisible seeds, the fence, the sky, the sun. You sit. You don't move. The sun moves. Your shadow moves. You sit. The garden is planted. The waiting begins again. The same waiting, but different. The waiting for green. The waiting for growth. The waiting for the first small shoot to push through the dark earth. The waiting for the leaf to unfold. The waiting for the stem to straighten. The waiting for the sun to climb higher and the days to grow longer and the warmth to sink into the ground and wake the seeds. The waiting. The same waiting. The waiting you know. The waiting you've always known. The waiting that is not impatience. The waiting that is just the space between one thing and the next. The planting. The waiting. The harvest. The waiting. The winter. The waiting. The spring. The waiting. The same. The same. The same. The first shoot appears on a morning when the fog is so thick you can't see the fence from the door. You walk out into the gray, and the wet hangs in the air like a curtain. The garden is a darker gray against the lighter gray of the fog. You kneel where you remember planting the seeds. The earth is soft. Your fingers find the row. And there it is. A tiny curl of green. No bigger than your thumbnail. Bent over like a sleeping child. You touch it. The leaf is soft. Almost not there. You pull your hand back. You don't want to break it. You sit in the fog. The damp soaks through your clothes. Your knees are wet. Your hands are wet. Your face is wet. You don't move. You look at the green. The small green. The first green. The garden is waking up. One shoot, then another. You find them by touch. Your fingers move along the row. Here, and here, and here. Not many. A few. But enough. Enough to know the seeds were alive. Enough to know the earth was ready. Enough to know the waiting is over. Not the waiting for spring. That waiting is over. Now the waiting for summer. The waiting for the plants to grow tall and the leaves to spread and the roots to swell and the fruit to form. The waiting for the harvest. The waiting for the food that will fill the pot and the bread that will rise and the winter that will come again. The waiting never ends. It just changes shape. The fog burns off by midday. The sun comes through, pale at first, then brighter. The garden steams. The wet earth gives off a smell like mushrooms and iron and something green you can't name. You stand at the fence. You look at the garden. The shoots are still small. You can barely see them from where you stand. But you know they're there. You know where each one is. You've counted them. 23. 23 small green shoots. Not all the seeds you planted. Most of them are still sleeping. Or dead. You don't know which. But 23 is enough. 23 is something. The neighbor's garden is ahead of yours. Her shoots are taller. Her rows are fuller. She planted earlier. She always plants earlier. You see her kneeling in the dirt, pulling something. Not weeds. She's thinning the shoots, pulling the weak ones so the strong ones have room. She pulls and tosses. The pulled shoots lie on the ground beside her, small and green and dying. You watch her hands move. Pull, toss, pull, toss. Her hands are fast. She doesn't hesitate. The weak ones go. The strong ones stay. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. You go back to your garden. You kneel. You look at your 23 shoots. They're all small. They're all weak. You can't thin them. There's nothing to thin. They're all there is. You leave them. You stand up. You go inside. The fire is low. You add wood. The wood is dry now. The damp is gone from the air. The wood burns clean. The flame is blue at the base, then orange, then yellow. You watch it. The fire is steady. The room is warm. Not warm. Comfortable. You sit on the bench. Your spouse is at the table. Your spouse is making something. A tool. A handle for something. Your spouse's hands move slowly. The knife scrapes the wood. Curls fall to the floor. The smell is sweet. Fresh wood. Your spouse doesn't look up. You don't speak. The knife scrapes. The fire pops. The sun comes through the window. The window is open. The shutter is pushed back. The air comes in. It smells like earth. Like growing things. Like the fog that burned off. Like the garden. Like the spring. The days are longer now. You notice it when you go to bed. The sky is still light. Not bright, but light. A pale blue that fades to gray at the edges. You lie in bed and watch the crack in the shutter. The light stays for a long time. Then it fades. Then the dark comes. But the dark is shorter. The dark is not as heavy. You sleep better, deeper. You don't wake as often. When you wake, the sky is already gray. The night is over. The day is beginning. You get up. You kneel at the hearth. The ember is still alive. You feed it. The fire grows. You go outside. The sun is already over the trees. The garden is wet with dew. The shoots are taller. Not much. A little. But taller. You start to see other people in the village. Not just at the well or the garden. Walking. Standing. Talking. The talk is low. Slow. Words about the weather. About the garden. About the animals. Who has a new pig. Who lost a goat. Whose roof needs ret-hatching before the summer rains. The words are not important. The sound is important. Voices. Human voices. Not just your own. Not just your spouse's. Other voices. The village is waking up. The same way the garden is waking up. Slowly. Quietly. One voice at a time. The blacksmith's forge is lit. You see the smoke rising from the hole in his roof. The smoke is thin. Gray. It drifts across the village and disappears into the trees. The sound of the hammer comes with it. Clang. Pause. Clang. The rhythm is slow. The blacksmith is old. His arm is weak. But he's working. The forge is lit. The hammer is falling. The iron is bending. The village is working. The baker's oven is lit. You smell the bread before you see it. The smell comes through the open door. Warm. Yeasty. The smell of something you haven't smelled in months. Real bread. Fresh bread. Not the dark bread you ate through the winter. The hard bread. The sour bread. The bread that was mostly air and memory. This is new bread. Made from the last of the old flour. Not much, but enough. The smell makes your stomach clench. You walk toward the oven. The baker is standing by the door. His face is red from the heat. His hands are white with flour. He looks at you. You look at him. He holds out a small piece of bread. Still warm. You take it. You eat it. The bread is soft. It melts on your tongue. You close your eyes. You chew slowly. You swallow. You open your eyes. The baker is still there. He nods. You nod. You walk away. Your stomach is full. Not full. Less empty. You go back to the garden. The shoots are taller. You measure them with your finger. The tallest one is up to your second knuckle. The smallest one is still just a curl. You touch them. The leaves are soft. They bend under your finger and then straighten. You pull a few weeds. Small weeds. Easy to pull. The roots come up with a tiny pop. You throw the weeds over the fence. They land in the path. The chickens would have eaten them. But the chickens are gone. You think about getting more chickens. Someone in the village has eggs. Fertile eggs. You could trade for them. You have the copper coins. The 6 coins. You haven't spent them. You don't know what to spend them on. The market hasn't started again. The roads are still wet. The traders haven't come. But they will come. When the roads are dry. When the mud is gone. When the summer is close. They will come with their carts and their goods and their voices calling out. Eggs. Wool. Leather. A knife. Pot. A length of linen. You will be there. You will have your coins. You will trade. The village will fill with things. New things. Things you haven't seen since before the winter. Before the snow. Before the long gray. The sun is warm now. Not warm. Warm enough. You take off your wool tunic. You hang it on the fence. You work in your linen shirt. The shirt is thin. The sun goes through it. You can feel the warmth on your skin. Your arms are pale. White. The color of the inside of a potato. The sun will change that. Slowly. Over the summer. Your arms will turn brown. Your face will turn brown. Your neck will turn brown. The brown of someone who works outside. Someone who kneels in the dirt. Someone who walks the fields and carries water and pulls weeds and turns the soil. The brown of the village. the brown of the earth, the brown of the people who live close to the ground. You work until your back aches. Then you stop. You sit on the ground, your back against the fence. The wood is rough. You lean your head back. You close your eyes. The sun is on your face. The sun is on your chest. The sun is on your arms. You breathe. The air is warm. It smells like earth and grass and the small white flowers that are starting to appear in the field beyond the village. The flowers are small, low to the ground. The same flowers from your dream. The white flowers. You open your eyes. You look at them. They're real. They're not a dream. They're there, in the field, small and white and growing. You stand up. You walk to the field. You kneel. You touch one. The petal is soft. It bends under your finger. The same softness, the same bend, the same flower, the same field, the same sun, the same warmth. You close your eyes. You breathe. The air is sweet. The same sweetness, the same dream, but not a dream. Real. The flowers are real. The field is real. The sun is real. The warmth is real. You open your eyes. The flowers are still there. You stand up. You walk back to the garden. You pick up your tunic. You go inside. The fire is low. You add wood. You sit on the bench. Your spouse is at the table. The knife scrapes the wood. Curls fall to the floor. The smell is sweet. The sun comes through the window. The day is long. The evening is far away. You sit. You rest. The spring is here. The summer is coming. The winter is gone. Not forgotten. Never forgotten. But gone. For now. The spring is here. The sun is warm. The garden is growing. The seeds are waking. The village is waking. You are waking. The same waking. The same day. The same sun. The same earth. The same hands. The same breath. The same. The same. The same. The summer comes on slowly, like a hand reaching across a table. Not sudden. Not dramatic. Just a gradual lengthening of the light and a deepening of the warmth. The garden responds. The shoots become stalks. The stalks become stems. The stems put out leaves. The leaves unfurl and turn toward the sun. You water them from the well. You pull the weeds that grow faster than anything you planted. You watch for pests. The slugs come at night. You find them in the morning, silver trails across the dark earth. Leaves chewed to lace. You pick them off by hand, one by one. Their bodies are cold and wet and they leave a film on your fingers. You drop them over the fence. The birds find them. The birds are back. You hear them in the morning. A chorus of small voices. Not singing, just talking. The way birds talk. Short phrases. Repeated. The same call over and over. You listen. You don't understand. You don't need to. The village fills with green. Not just the gardens. The edges of the paths. The spaces between the houses. The field beyond the well. Everywhere you look, something is growing. Grass. Weeds. Wildflowers. The small white ones are gone now, replaced by yellow ones. Small and bright. They grow in clusters. The bees find them. The bees are back too. You hear them before you see them. A low hum. The sound of work. The sound of something alive and moving and doing what it was made to do. You watch a bee land on a yellow flower. Its legs are heavy with pollen. It crawls over the petals. It doesn't rush. It moves with a kind of patience you recognize. The patience of something that knows exactly what it needs and exactly how to get it. The animals come back. Not the ones you lost. New ones. The neighbor has a piglet. Small and pink and loud. It follows her everywhere. It roots in the mud outside her door. It sleeps in a box by her hearth. She talks to it. Low words you can't hear. The piglet squeals. She talks. The piglet quiets. She moves through her day with the piglet at her heels. You watch her from your garden. She doesn't look up. You don't call out. The piglet grows. You can see it getting bigger. Day by day. The way its legs get longer. The way its ears flop less. The way it moves from a waddle to a trot. The neighbor feeds it kitchen scraps and acorns and the way from cheese making. The piglet eats everything. It is never full. It is always hungry. The neighbor doesn't mind. She feeds it again. The blacksmith gets a cow. A young one, brown and bony and nervous. It stands in the pen behind his forge and moos at everything. The wind, the hammer, the children who come to watch it. The blacksmith ignores the mooing. He feeds the cow hay and water and a little grain. The cow settles. After a week, it stops mooing. After 2 weeks, it lets him touch it. After 3, it follows him the way the piglet follows the neighbor. The blacksmith doesn't talk to the cow. He just works. The cow stands near the forge. The heat doesn't bother it. The noise doesn't bother it. The cow is patient. The cow waits. The blacksmith works. The hammer falls. The iron bends. The cow watches with its big brown eyes. The baker gets chickens. A whole flock. 15 of them. They arrive in a wooden crate on the back of a trader's cart. The trader comes when the roads are dry. The mud is gone. The ruts are hard. The cart wheels turn without sinking. The trader's voice carries across the village. Wool, leather, salt, nails. The words are the same every year. You know them by heart. You walk to the cart. You look at the goods. The wool is coarse. The leather is stiff. The salt is white and fine. The nails are black and sharp. You touch the salt. You rub it between your fingers. You smell it. The smell is clean, sharp. The smell of the sea, though you've never seen the sea. You buy salt. You give the trader 2 of your copper coins. The coins are warm from your pouch. The trader drops them into his own pouch. The leather makes a sound, a soft clink. You put the salt in your bag. You walk home. The salt sits on the table. A small pile of white, the color of snow, but not cold, not wet, just salt. Just the thing that keeps meat from rotting. The thing that makes food taste like something. The thing you ran out of in the deep winter. You have salt now. Enough for a while. Not forever, but for a while. The trader also has seeds. Not the seeds you planted. Different seeds. Beans, peas, carrots. You didn't plant carrots. You didn't have carrot seeds. You have them now. You buy them with your 3rd coin. The seeds are small, dark. They look like dirt. But they're not dirt. They're life. Waiting. You put them in the leather bag with the other seeds. The bag is fuller now. Heavier. You hang it on the peg. You will plant them tomorrow. In the space between the rows. The space you left for exactly this. The space for the seeds you didn't have. The seeds you have now. The trader leaves. His cart rolls out of the village. The wheels turn. The dust rises. The dust is brown and fine and hangs in the air for a long time after he's gone. You watch the dust settle. It settles on the path, on the fence, on the leaves of the garden. You brush it off. The dust is warm. The day is warm. The summer is here. You plant the beans. You make a hole with your finger. You drop the seed. You cover it. The beans are round, hard. They feel different from the other seeds. Heavier. You plant them in a row by themselves. The beans will climb. They will need something to hold on to. You drive stakes into the ground. You weave branches between them. The trellis is rough. It leans to one side. You straighten it. It leans again. You leave it. The beans will climb anyway. They don't care if the trellis is straight. They just need something to hold. The peas go in next to the beans. The peas are smaller, rounder. You plant them closer together. They will climb too, but they're lighter. They don't need as much support. You weave thinner branches for them. The branches are flexible. They bend without breaking. You tie them with strips of bark. The bark is wet. It stretches. The knots hold. The trellis for the peas is neater than the trellis for the beans. You stand back. You look at both. The bean trellis is ugly. The pea trellis is pretty. They will both work. Ugly and pretty work the same. The plants don't care. The carrots go in the last row. The carrots are tiny. You scatter them over the earth. You cover them with a thin layer of soil. You pat the soil down with your palm. The carrots will take a long time. They grow slowly, deep in the ground. You won't see them for weeks. You won't know if they're growing. You'll just have to trust. The same trust you had in the winter. The same trust you had when the seeds were in the bag and the ground was frozen and the snow was deep and you didn't know if spring would ever come. The trust that the world knows what it's doing. The trust that the seed knows how to grow. The trust that the carrot knows how to find its way through the dark earth. The same trust. The same waiting. The same patience. The same. The days are long now. The sun rises early and sets late. You work in the garden in the morning, when the air is cool and the dew is on the leaves. You work again in the evening, when the sun is low and the shadows are long and the heat has gone out of the day. The middle of the day is for rest. You sit inside. The house is cool. The walls are thick. The fire is low. You don't need the fire for warmth. You need it for cooking. The pot is on the hook. The stew is thin. But there are vegetables now. Not many. A few early greens. A few radishes. The radishes grow fast. You pull them when they're small and red and hot. You slice them into the stew. The stew tastes like something. Like radish. Like green. Like the garden. You eat slowly. You chew. You swallow. You sit. The sun moves across the floor. The shadows shift. The room is quiet. Your spouse is outside. Your spouse is mending the roof. The thatch needs replacing. The winter damaged it. The snow sat on it for months. The weight pressed down. The reeds broke. The rain will come. The summer rains. The roof needs to be ready. Your spouse climbs the ladder. The ladder is old. It wobbles. Your spouse doesn't fall. Your spouse pulls out the old reeds. Your spouse pushes in the new ones. The new reeds are green. They smell like the marsh where they were cut. Your spouse works slowly. One reed at a time. The roof grows thicker. The holes close. The thatch takes shape. Your spouse's hands are raw. The reeds are sharp. They cut. Your spouse doesn't stop. The roof needs to be ready. The rain will come. The rain comes on a Thursday. Not the soft rain of spring. The hard rain of summer. The kind that falls straight down, heavy and fast, and turns the paths to rivers in minutes. You watch it from the door. The water sheets off the roof. The new thatch holds. The water runs down the slope and drips off the edge and pools in the mud. The garden disappears behind a curtain of water. You can't see the beans or the peas or the carrots. Just water. Just gray. Just the sound of the rain hitting the ground. The sound is loud. Constant. It fills the house. It fills your ears. You sit by the fire. The fire is low. The smoke doesn't rise. The rain pushes it down. The smoke hangs in the room. Your eyes water. You don't move. The rain falls. The rain falls. The rain falls. It stops after 3 hours. The sun comes out. The garden steams. The beans are bent but not broken. The peas are flat against the ground. They'll straighten. They always straighten. The carrots are invisible. You can't tell if they're there. You trust. You go outside. The air is clean. Washed. The smell is fresh. The mud is deep. You lose a shoe. You find it. You walk to the well. The well is full. The water is high. You lower the bucket. You pull it up. The water is cold. Clear. You drink from the bucket. The water tastes like rain. Like earth. Like the sky. You drink until your stomach hurts. Then you stop. You carry the bucket home. The water sloshes over the rim. Your feet are wet. Your shoes are wet. Your pants are wet. You don't care. The rain is over. The sun is out. The garden is growing. The roof is holding. The village is still there. You are still there. The same. The same. The same. The beans climb. You watch them do it day by day, and the watching becomes its own kind of occupation. The tendrils reach out in the morning, pale and curved like the fingers of a sleeping child. By evening, they've found the branches. They wrap around the wood in a spiral that tightens overnight. You touch one. It holds. You pull gently. It holds tighter. The bean plant knows what it's doing. It doesn't need you to show it. It just needs the branch to be there. You put the branch there. That's your part. The rest is the bean's work. The peas climb faster. They're lighter, more eager. They reach the top of the trellis before the beans are halfway up. The tendrils curl over the top and hang down the other side. They look like green hair. You weave them back through the branches. They find their way again. You weave them again. They find their way again. You stop weaving. Let them hang. It doesn't matter. They'll grow anyway. Peas are hard to stop. They want to live. They want to climb. They want to make peas. You can't blame them. You want the same things. The carrots are still invisible. The earth is smooth and dark where you planted them. No sign of green. You kneel and brush the soil away with your finger. You find a tiny orange thread, thin as a piece of string. The carrot. The beginning of the carrot. You cover it back up. You pat the soil. You stand. The carrot is there. You saw it. A small orange thread in the dark earth. That's enough. That's everything. The summer heat settles in. Not the heat you think of. Not the heavy, wet heat of places with oceans and rivers and wide skies. A dry heat. The kind that comes off the fields and the stone walls and the packed earth of the paths. The kind that makes you thirsty even when you've just drunk. The kind that pulls the sweat out of your skin and leaves a white crust of salt on your tunic. You drink water. Lots of water. The well is low. Not as low as winter, but lower than spring. The summer is dry. The rain hasn't come again. The sky is blue. The sun is white. The ground is hard. You water the garden in the morning and the evening. The water comes from the well in buckets. You carry them one at a time. Your arms ache. Your back aches. You pour the water at the base of the plants. The water sinks in fast. The earth drinks it. The plants drink it. You can almost see them growing. The beans are waist high now. The peas are shoulder high. The carrots are still invisible, but you know they're there. You saw the orange thread. You trust. The village is quiet in the heat. The doors stay open. The windows stay open. The air moves through the houses, but it doesn't cool anything. It just moves. The same warm air. The same dry air. You sit in the doorway. Your spouse sits on the bench. Neither of you speaks. Speaking takes moisture. Moisture is precious. You save it. You sit. The sun moves. The shadow of the house moves across the yard. You follow it. When the sun is directly overhead, the shadow is small. A pool of shade at the base of the wall. You sit in the pool. Your spouse sits beside you. Your shoulders touch. The touch is warm. Not uncomfortable. Just warm. The way two bodies feel when the air is still and the sun is high and there's nothing to do but wait for the heat to break. The heat doesn't break. It holds. Day after day. The same blue sky. The same white sun. The same dry air. The garden drinks the water you give it. The well drops lower. You measure it with a stone tied to a string. You lower the stone. It hits the water. You pull it up. The string is wet for a shorter length than last week. The well is dropping. You count the wet length on your fingers. 3 fingers. 2 fingers. 1 finger. You stop counting. You keep watering. You have no choice. The plants will die without water. The well will go dry without rain. You water. You wait. The sky is blue. The sun is white. The air is dry. The well drops. The plants grow. The beans flower. Small white flowers. Not showy. Just there. The peas flower too. Small purple flowers. Almost invisible against the green. The flowers mean the peas are coming. The beans are coming. The food is coming. If the water holds. If the well doesn't go dry. If the rain comes. If the rain comes on a Sunday. You know it's Sunday because the neighbor marks the deep notch on her stick. You see her making the notch in the morning. The knife cuts deep. The wood splits. She hangs the stick back by her door. You look at the stick. The notches are close together now. The deep notches are farther apart. The summer has fewer Sundays than the winter had. Or maybe you just notice them less. The days blur. The heat blurs them. The work blurs them. The watering and the weeding and the watching. The notches on the stick are the only thing that separates one day from the next. That and the rain. The rain starts in the afternoon. Not the hard rain of summer. A soft rain. Gentle. The kind that falls straight down and doesn't splash. The kind that soaks in instead of running off. You stand in the rain. You open your mouth. The rain hits your tongue. tastes like nothing, like sky, like air, like the thing you've been waiting for. You stand in the garden. The rain falls on the beans, on the peas, on the invisible carrots. The leaves shake. The drops hit and roll and fall. The earth drinks. The well drinks. You drink. You stand in the rain until your clothes are wet and your hair is wet and your shoes are full of water. Then you go inside. You stand by the fire. The fire is low. You don't build it up. You just stand. The water drips off you onto the floor. The floor is dirt. The water soaks in. You stand. The rain falls. The sound is soft, constant. The sound of something you thought you'd forgotten. The sound of summer rain. The sound of the world giving back what it took. The rain lasts all night. You lie in bed and listen. The thatch holds. The roof doesn't leak. Your spouse sleeps. You listen. The rain on the thatch is a different sound than rain on the ground. Softer, muffled, like someone walking on wool. You close your eyes. The sound is steady. The same rhythm. The same soft beat. You fall asleep. You don't dream. Or you dream and don't remember. The rain falls. You sleep. The rain falls. You wake. The rain has stopped. The sky is gray. Not the gray of winter. The gray of summer. The gray that comes after rain. Soft. Diffuse. The light is even. No shadows. No harsh edges. The world looks like it's been washed. Everything is clean. The leaves are green. The earth is dark. The air is cool. You go outside. The garden is wet. The beans are heavy with water. The peas are dripping. The carrots are still invisible. But the earth is soft. The water has soaked deep. The carrots are drinking. You kneel. You brush the soil away. The orange thread is thicker now. A small knob at the top. The beginning of the root. You cover it. You pat the soil. You stand. The carrots are there. Growing. Waiting. Like you. The days after the rain are different. The heat is gone. Not all of it. The edge is off. The air is softer. The sun is still there, but it's not the same sun. It's the summer sun. The one you remember from other summers. The one that warms without burning. The one that makes the garden grow without killing it. You water less. The well is higher. The rain filled it. The stone on the string comes up wet for 4 fingers. 5 fingers. You stop measuring. The well is full. The garden is full. The village is full. The summer is full. The beans are forming. Small green pods. You watch them grow. Day by day. The pods get longer. Thicker. The beans inside are small at first. Soft. You can feel them through the pod. Little bumps. Hardening. The peas are forming too. The pods are smaller. Rounder. The peas inside are round. You can feel them when you squeeze. Dozens of them. In each pod. The peas will come first. Then the beans. Then the carrots. The carrots take the longest. They're still invisible. But you know they're there. Growing in the dark. The same dark you knew in the winter. The same waiting. The same patience. The same trust. The carrots don't know about the sun. They don't need to. They have the earth. The earth is enough. The dark is enough. The waiting is enough. The carrots grow. You wait. The summer passes. The days are long. The nights are short. The work is steady. The same work. The same garden. The same well. The same fire. The same pot. The same bowl. The same spoon. The same bed. The same breath. The same. The same. The same.